So using the gamepad tester, notice when I put the joystick down, notice how it's staying in the down position even though it's physically back in the normal position. So there on the right hand side you can see how the joystick is not functioning correctly. It's locking in the down position even though I've released the joystick. It's like it's stuck in that position. Right, to open the unit I'm going to first remove the batteries. I need to remove these two covers. To open the cover, you can use pry tools. However, it is pretty tight. So I'm just going to use a flat screwdriver. I just cover it in a sheet. I put it here towards the back and I just press it in there. Once I'm in, I support that with my finger and now I can just wedge my screwdriver along the root. There's very limited damage from using the screwdriver. I do the same on this side. There are 5 Torx screws and one underneath here. These screws are Torx, but it's the tamper-resistant Torx, which means your Torx bit needs to have a hole in the middle. I'm using a T9, and I can just turn this by hand. You note the little pin in the middle of the Torx screw, and that goes in the little hole there. Now, if you haven't got a Torx screw, you can also use a flat screwdriver. I'll quickly demonstrate. This screwdriver is probably just over 2 millimeters in width, and I just wedge it there, and it does slip a little bit, but it is doing the job. There's a screw underneath here. You can use a blade and lift up this cover. Right, I can now remove this cover, remove that, and remove that. Right, you can remove this back cover. I need to pop out these little motors. They are held in place by this little lip there, and lift that so that I can slide the motor out. If you want to, you can also just use your nail and then you can slide the motor out. Now I just need to lift up these antenna wires, and it's just 2 screws, 1, 2. These are Torx screws and I'm using a T6. I'm now going to separate the bottom board from the top board by just unplugging it. It's just a plug there, and I gently remove this. If this hasn't already fallen out, this is the audio jack, so just put this aside somewhere. Now it is still pretty taut, so now I can just release the wires on the side to give me some room to work with that bottom board. So I just need to release these wires. That's on one side and then the other side. I just pull them very gently. Now I've got space to work with this board. Right, this is the joystick that's giving a problem. There's a potentiometer on the side here and one over here, which is a variable resistor. You can also buy aftermarket joysticks such as these and then desolder the old and put the new. But in my case, I'm going to demonstrate how to first service the slider. I have a separate video explaining how to replace the entire joystick. Now the right way to service this would be to desolder it, which would mean I would need to desolder the metal frame and then desolder the potentiometers on the side, or at least desolder the potentiometers on the side. Now a lot of people don't have a soldering iron, and it is quite difficult to remove all 3 of these at the same time. So I'm going to demonstrate a little hack which allows you to clean this without desoldering it. And I just need to open these green covers here to get to the potentiometer. So I'm taking a flat screwdriver on the side here, wedging it between there and turning it. Notice as I turn it, it's opening a little bit. There's the clip. The clip is going in there. Right, now I'm going to flip it around. It's not fully open on that side, but it's a bit open, and I'm going to do the same on this side. So it has released a little bit, and now I'm just going to flap it open. Right, I've turned it upside down to let this drop out. Now on the inside, I can see there's a little bit of dirt in there, so I'm just going to spray it out with a contact cleaner. In this video, I'll be using the Contact chemicals, and I will start with the Contact 60, which is the contact cleaner. It dissolves the corrosion, but then I'll need to wash that off, but then I'll need to use a lubricant which protects and prepares the surface for long-term use. However, if you don't have these, it's fine. You can use a rubbing alcohol. This is not a hand sanitizer. It has no glycol. So you can use a rubbing alcohol. If you don't even have a rubbing alcohol, you can even use vinegar. But for the purpose of the video, I'm going to use this technique. However, it is not necessary to buy all this. You can use other contact cleaners on the market. And as stated, you can also use the rubbing alcohol or even the vinegar. Right, so the contact cleaner is in. I'm just taking a very clean toothbrush and I'm just brushing it inside there. And I can see that it is now clean in there. It's actually clean. I'm just going to use the wash spray just to remove the contact cleaner that was there. I'm taking a blower to just blow it out now. And then I'm just spraying in a lubricator. On the slider side, I'm taking my contact cleaner, which cleans off any corrosion. I'm then going to use the blower. And then I'm just going to coat it with the anti-corrosion and lubricator. Make sure the slider has the springiness and that it is leaning there. It must not be completely flat. Notice on the slider there is a rectangular space that seats onto the rectangular protrusion here. When reinserting this, make sure that the slider part is at the top. So the raised springy part is at the top. Now I'm going to close this. and it clamps back in place. I'm going to take my screwdriver and just wedge it in the side there, and then I'm going to lift the other side as well. Be very careful not to shove the screwdriver in there, it's just the tip. Now that it has opened a little bit, I'm just taking my fingers and I'm bending this open a little bit. Now from looking inside, I can see that this one is not faulty. So I don't have to even get the slider out. I can just give it a bit of a spray. So I'm going to use the contact cleaner. I'm just going to get inside there a little bit. I'm just going to let it sit for a bit to dissolve any corrosion. You can operate it a couple of times just to help it wear down any corrosion. And then I'll take my blower and completely dry it. And I'll take the wash spray and just wash off any of the old dirt and any corrosion that was present. And I'll just hold it a bit closed and just do the toggling up and down here to wipe that thing. It's just helping it to wipe it clean. Once it's dry, I just put in the lubricant just to protect it going forward. Now I can just squeeze it closed. It clamps in place. Now I just toggle it up and down a few times. It's good practice to put some contact cleaner in this little switch here. So I'm just going to spray a drop, just a tiny bit, into that switch, and then I just bounce this up and down a bit, and then I will blow it out with the blower. Now that it's repaired, I also need to make sure that the moving parts are lubricated. So I need to take a little bit of grease, just a tiny bit, and put it inside here so that the plastic on the plastic has some lubrication to reduce the resistance. So I'm using actual grease. If you haven't got grease, you can use a non-perfumed petroleum jelly. Putting a very small amount of grease just where this plastic strip is, on that side and on that side. I'm just letting it spread a bit. It's very little. It might look more than it is because of the color. If it was the petroleum jelly color, you would hardly even notice it. Please, it's very, very little. Now, if in your case you noticed it had a lot of dirt in there, maybe someone had spilt even juice on there, then you can take your rubbing alcohol and you can spray it inside there. So you must do this before you open up the potentiometer. So I'll just do a little spray there. I move this around to circulate the alcohol, and now I take my blower and I blow on it vigorously while moving it around. And then I repeat that a few times. And that will dislodge any juice that is inside there. Now, once that's dry and free of any sediment, any juice or whatever has spilled there, then I can open these sides here of the potentiometer and clean out the contacts. If you've had to thoroughly clean this out with alcohol, you can put a little bit of grease or lubrication there, and also just a dot inside there, and then also just a very small amount there, just to aid the movement because now it's been thoroughly cleaned. Now, while we're here, if you've got any of these buttons which don't depress nicely or you feel like you have to press them firmer than necessary, I'm going to quickly show you how to give this a service. I just take my screwdriver and lift these clips here. You're going to open these 6 screws here, T6. Just be careful when opening the screw. Don't let the screwdriver jump onto the components. Now, once you're taking out the last screw, make sure that this is in your hand, because if it is flush on the table, this board might pop out and all the buttons might get all mixed up. So I'm taking this out gently. Now, in your case, you might find this sticks to the board. That's also not a problem. But what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to make sure that the buttons do not lose their placement. You'll notice that the plastic little lips here on the side are not the same size. So it can only go in one way. It's not the end of the world if all the buttons pop out. So you just take a photo and you repopulate it. You might even need to take these buttons out in order to clean them if there was juice or something spilt on them. Now, I've put something here just to stop the buttons from popping out. Right, now we need to work with this. Yours might be stuck down. Just remove this. And what we need to do is we just need to gently wipe inside here. The first thing I'm going to do is take some rubbing alcohol and just put it on my fingers. And while I'm doing this, I'm trying to dissolve any oil that is on my fingers. Right, now all I need to do is inspect these contacts. And I can see some impressions here. So I'm just going to give it a quick wipe. I'm going to wipe these contacts and these contacts. Right, so I just take the rubbing alcohol and I just wipe gently. I don't have to scrub it. I'm just giving it a wipe just to remove any dirt there. And on these pads, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just giving it a wipe. This is a lint-free cloth. I'm not scrubbing it. It's just a quick wipe. That's it. And don't forget to wipe the conductor over here for the other button. If you do have 1 or 2 buttons that are giving you a problem, then yes, you can color in a little bit on the pad or on the conductor itself, but not too much. Otherwise, it will be like a permanent button press. This is only a short-term solution. A long-term solution will require you to put conductive paint onto the pad, the rubber pad. And you can also put a drop of contact cleaner inside here and on this one as well. And just bounce the switches up and down a bit. Right, I'm just returning this to where the buttons are. I'm lifting this in my hand and I'm just seating this nicely. If it's not seating, just go back and see that the buttons are correctly placed. That one was out of its position. Now I push this down. Remember, I have no oil on my fingers, so I can gently push this down and I can return the board with the pads. Right, while holding this in the air, I'm going to quickly replace the first screw. Right, now replace all the other screws. Lift this up and seat the plastic cover. You will hear a definitive click there and there. All right, the audio jack has popped out. Notice the contacts are facing up. You want this to line up with that. So I'm plugging that into that. So notice I'm lining it up. I'm holding the headphone jack at the same time. I'm basically plugging in the top board into the bottom board, and the headphone jack is in place. Now I can return these vibrating motors, and I slide it in there, and you'll notice that it gets stuck. Just flip it around. There's a lever there, and then once I push it back, it's just spring released. Then I can slide the motor in, and that lever holds the motor in place. So I just need to press this down, and then I can slide this motor in here. It also helps if you can just angle this while you are sliding it in. All right, a bit of a boo-boo here. Unfortunately, I have to bring out the soldering iron. The red wire has come off, so I just need to put a dot of solder here on this point, and then I just have to solder the red wire back on here. Using my side cutters, I'm just removing a little bit of the jacket there, put a tiny bit of solder on the exposed wire, and just remove these other wires out of the way and just solder that back on. Just return the antenna wires. You just place it over it, take your nail and press it down. You don't need to force. If it's not going in, then it's not aligned properly there. It clips in nicely, almost like a button press. Notice the orientation. This is just for the Bluetooth pairing. If you're a bit rough and you happen to pull the shroud or the foil off your antenna wire, just solder the foil back onto the board. Return the Torx screws. One is there, one is there. Refeed your wires. If you're finding it's difficult to thread, just help it along with your screwdriver. Do not press hard. Have a look at the wire run, and notice the wire goes underneath that metallic strip. Okay, just check that all the buttons are pressing nicely. Notice that these antenna wires are sitting in these grooves here. That's because the battery is going to sit over here. Notice that these wires are towards this side and these wires are towards this side. Notice that the wires are nowhere near this lever. Make sure the top two screws are in place. Now these two metal strips are for the battery, and when I slide on the top cover, I make sure the strips come through on the inside. It should look like that. Give the joysticks a bit of a clean and return them. Return the top cover. Now before you put the screws in, you might want to go and test it, but in my case I know it's working. Return the 5 screws and seat the covers on by pressing it firmly in place. Alright, so all the buttons are working perfectly. It was the left joystick, and there you can see how it returns to normal. It's now perfect.